Okay. Hello, everybody. We are going to get started. Okay. So, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Gloria Brandman. I was a special educator in the New York City public school system for over 34 years. And I am a proud member of the United Federation of Teachers. I am also involved, I'm an activist with Retiree Advocates, which is a caucus in the retired teachers chapter of the UFT. Okay, so this is what happened. About 2 months ago, we found out from the PSC, which is the Professional Staff Congress. Yeah, are you in the house? The CUNY workers, that about proposed changes to our health care that was being threatened by the Municipal Labor Committee, which is the umbrella organization for all of the city unions in New York City, and they work with the city's Office of Labor Management. So the planning for this drastic change had been going on for about 3 years, in very, shall we say, very quiet negotiation. Most of us hadn't heard anything about it. There was no transparency either from my union. I don't know about the rest of yours union. We didn't know about it until a few months ago. Okay. What they want to do is, there are 250,000 city retirees, and they were going to be moved out of Medicare into a Medicare Advantage Plan, supposedly to save the city money. So we contributed to Medicare during our years of employment with the understanding that we will have Medicare when we turn 65. So Retiree Advocate decided to make this information public because that was really important. So we asked questions. We sent emails. We wrote letters. We called into radio shows. We did whatever we could to spread the word. We even held a webinar. It was going to be a Zoom meeting, but after 200 people signed up, we had to make it into a webinar. We didn't know what we were doing, but we did it. We had 400 registrants, over 300 attended, and there were a lot of questions that were asked, and guess what? We really couldn't answer most of those questions at that time. So as a result, our union president, Michael Mulgrew, he held a town hall meeting shortly after to give us information and to answer questions. But we still had a lot of questions. They were not all asked. Many retirees in the UFT, as well as other municipal unions, are saying, no, do not change our health care into a privatized Medicare Advantage Plan. No. We should not be moving to a more privatized system. It's not. What we really need to work for is Medicare for All and the New York Health Care Act. So today we are going to hear from union members and also some experts about this. And we also have a sign-up sheet, which we hope you will sign up for, and I'll mention that again later. But to start us out, we're going to hear a song from a guy who's been all over the place doing songs for social justice. He was called a national treasure by a newspaper that has since folded, but I would like to introduce to you New York's treasure, our own Dave Lippman. Where are you, Dave?
You will know these tunes, and you will know the words, but they don't go together. Well, maybe they will. We'll see. Guitar coming through? De Blasio wants healthcare in the marketplace. It's folly and it really should be banned. Everybody knows what's hidden in fine print. It could end up we'll pay additional $6,000. So we say giveaways of our health care. That's the way to treat a friend. If it's profits you want, make a sales phone. Leave our Medicare alone. Our working lives we have paid each week. It was deducted as you know. Now you want to force us into managed lack of care. How low can you go? Did it ever occur to you to ask all the families you will harm? You insult us with culture of boardrooms. La la, how the stuff goes on. When I think back on all the work I did in my time, it's so wonder my paycheck was so small, and all my years as a city worker may have helped some. But I can see the writing on the wall. Actually, I can't see any wall here, which is a great thing. Managed care. You give us those bureaucratic hurdles. Our access to real health care curdles. They don't take my Medicare away. Looking at private plans for savings, there's a cheap trick. You see, Advantage Care Plan's great unless you get sick. Why would you privatize our future with this contract? Why don't you get on board with the New York Health Act? Privatization. Give us those bright, shiny colors. Promise us savings by summer. If you think your retirement's a sunny day, oh yeah. But we don't trust secret contracts. Don't want our sunset years ransacked. Well, they don't take my Medicare away. Managed carelessness. You give us those fine sounding numbers, but hardworking folks this plan encumbers. You may save, but retirees will pay. Oh yeah. You talk a good talk, but you don't walk it. You want me to pay out of pocket. Man, don't take my Medicare away. Sing it together now. Man, don't take my Medicare. Man, don't take my Medicare. Man, don't take my Medicare away. Man, don't take my Medicare. Man, don't take my Medicare. Man, don't take my Medicare away.
Whoa, okay. Okay. So now I would like to introduce our next speaker is going to be Denise Rickles. She is a UFT retiree. She was a special education teacher also for 30 plus years, as well as a longtime social justice advocate and activist. She says this time the struggle is up close, in my face, and deeply personal. Denise? I'm so glad to see such a large group of people here. This is just the beginning. Well, after Michael Mulgrew's town hall meeting, I had many questions. That I needed to ask him. So I sent him my questions. Then I didn't get a response, so then I sent it two more times, but I included Tom Murphy and the other members of the U of T leadership. I didn't get a response. So these are my questions. They're questions based on what he said, and they were like more commentary
and questions that go with the commentary. Number one, will you have time to review the proposed contract before the MLC votes on it? Time to give you feedback on issues that are not clearly stated and or written in small font and legal jargon. This is really scary because we hear horror stories of Medicare Advantage abuses, especially when people didn't read or understand the fine print and get really sick. My second question to Michael Mulberry was, the UFT says it will use a for-profit health insurance company to negotiate the same or better health plan than Medicare at a lower cost. For-profit health insurance companies make their profits by negotiating to pay less for medical procedures. Why would they give that away? Why would they give their profits away? They nickel and dime doctors and hospitals, and they cut corners on health care, which eventually drives up the cost that doctors and hospitals charge patients. This becomes a vicious cycle with no real improvement in healthcare services, but yet give windfall profits to corporate medicine. Moreover, this undermines Medicare while buttressing the privatization of healthcare. The U.S., with its private, for-profit insurance companies, rates 11 amongst the industrialized nations for the cost of healthcare and delivery of services. The top 10 nations all have a national single-payer healthcare system. Don't you think you're leading us in the wrong direction? And if not, please provide evidence to substantiate your opinion. Question number 3 to Mr. Mulberry. The mayor is calling upon retired municipal employees living on a fixed income and demanding they make sacrifices in order to pay the city $600 million in 2021. The mayor is demanding the $600 million come from Medicare. This is wrong on so many counts. Morally and ethically, it's wrong. You're taking our tax money that has been earmarked for Medicare and giving it to a for-profit insurance company that will take anywhere from 10 to 30 cents on the premium dollar for their profit. Now my question that I didn't write, but I have now, how do you get away with this legally? Is this legal? Retirees can least afford to pay more and get less from their health care plan. Who would have thought the UFT would take away our Medicare? Why is the MLC giving away our Medicare? If the mayor demands $600 million, then why don't you demand he get it elsewhere? For example, demand that he fully tax the national and international investors he pursues, promising and giving tax abatements and tax giveaways. Not only can they afford to pay the full tax, they can pay it without skimping and sacrificing their own personal health care and still have millions squirreled away somewhere. They can afford it. We can't.
Hey, thank you. Thank you. Hey, private Medicare is a scam. Keep our doctors in our plan. Private Medicare is a scam. Keep our doctors in our plan. Woo! I'm going to introduce David Kudelchuk. He is a retired faculty member in public health from Hunter College and an active member of the Retirees chapter of the Professional Staff Congress, the PSC, of CUNY. So he is speaking today as a representative of the Social Safety Net Committee of PSC CUNY.
Hey, welcome folks. Good to see you all. Hey, a little bit down. All right. Thank you. Today I'm speaking as a member of the PSC of Professional Staff Congress of CUNY. Okay. And calling, all of us support a moratorium on a change from Medicare to Medicare Advantage. We have many concerns about the secret process that's been going on within which this choice is developing. Gloria said a few moments ago that they've been negotiating for 3 years about this. They signed an agreement in 2018. The agreement has a deadline, June 30th, 2021, next month, folks. In the 3 years, did anybody of your union leaders tell you about what was going on? No. Another question. In November, there was a request for proposal that Medicare Advantage plans take over our health insurance. Did our union leaders tell us about this request during the last months with a deadline fast approaching? No, it did not. So why are they talking to us now in May? Suddenly I've heard something the last couple of weeks. That's because we retirees found out about it, and we were telling other unionists, and the word is spreading. 11,000 people have signed the petition already. Yes. The cat's out of the bag. They're now talking to us. Thank you, leaders. The agreement says that there are 8 different areas of healthcare costs that they agreed to examine 3 years ago. Have we heard any report about what are the 8 and why did they choose this one? No, they didn't. And I expect that they should give us a report to tell us why of all of the choices. And some of the choices are good, that like self-insurance by the city, which would save money. So we don't have to pay an insurance company. The city can assume the risk and the costs. Okay, so all city unionists need to hear from the MLC exactly what it is recommending, followed by a moratorium on any agreement with the city so that we can examine and evaluate this recommendation. If the recommendation is for moving city employees to original Medicare, this would be the greatest change in health care benefits to retirees from the city since the MLC was founded back in 1966. We have lots of concerns. Our doctors, our hospitals, have they been checked? Will they accept this? New York City leaders tell us not to worry. This Medicare Advantage plan is different. Yes, but fine. I'm glad it's different. Show us that they are not just, that these Medicare Advantage plans are not just business operations masquerading as systems for ensuring the delivery of health care to us. Yeah, folks, healthy populations of working people typically spend the greatest share of our lifetime medical expenses during retirement as our life nears end. So we have every right to be concerned about what folks are doing and what healthcare spending. But you know what some union leaders are saying about our efforts? In April, MLC Chair Harry Nespoli said, quote, "We are aware that there is misinformation swirling around the Medicare Advantage program, particularly among retiree groups," unquote. Mr. Nespoli, this is a personal insult to each and every one of us who've been working for months to try to find out what the hell the MLC and the unions are doing, and they've tried to hide it from us. We in the PSC have been working on this for a year, trying to get good information, and we haven't been able to get it. We are not spreading misinformation. You, Mr. Rispoli, and other union leaders are holding back information from us, your retired members, about proposals that affect our health. We deserve an apology from you and the MLC for trying to breach the curtain of secrecy on what is a matter that affects our very lives. Okay, and without this information, we can and must look at Medicare Advantage program through the lens of our national experiences with these programs. This is history, not misinformation. It is the responsibility of the MLC to provide us the specifics of a plan if they wish to show us that it is not the Medicare Advantage of old. To implement all of this, we call on the MLC to institute a moratorium on concluding an agreement with the city on Medicare Advantage, and then finally, please pull back the curtain of secrecy so all retirees can see concretely and in detail what is being proposed. Thank you.
No private Medicare! No private Medicare! No private Medicare! Okay, we hope they hear us. Because we also, besides for a moratorium, we want to have input into this final decision. I hope they know that. Okay, so our next speaker, Naomi Zodi. She is an assistant professor at CUNY in the School of Public Health and also a fellow at the Roosevelt Institute. She researches insurance and wealth and inequality, published in academic journals. And this year she has appeared in the New York Times, in Ms. Magazine, as well as on PBS NewsHour. We are happy to have Naomi here.
Thank you. This is such an incredible, y'all clearly understand exactly what is going on, so I don't have that much to teach you. But, let me say, this year has been particularly difficult, right, for everybody. It's almost a cliche. It would be a cliche if it wasn't, suffering. But you know what? Insurance companies have had record profits in 2020. Why? Because they make money when we don't go to the doctor. When we keep paying our premiums, but we delay and avoid primary care and elective services, they get to keep the money. That's why they invest heavily in things called utilization review and utilization management. And they outsource a lot of this work. So there's people in call centers all over the global south who look through the medical records and try to figure out what is something that I can come up with some really annoying technical argument for why I don't have to pay for this. And all of that costs so much money. By the way, that right there is the thing that insurance companies sell us. That's what they have to offer us for the reason that the industry exists. Utilization management. That's what we're paying for. Supposedly it'll save us money, but what every other country in the entire world has figured out is that they waste so much money trying to put all these roadblocks in the way of us getting care, prior authorizations, and just whatever. They come up with so many things, we get so frustrated, we just don't even go anymore. All of that costs so much money, paying all those people salaries to do that it would be cheaper for us to just all get all the health care we needed and just take insurance industries completely out of the equation. It turns out that's not just the less evil thing to do. It turns out that it's the cheapest possible way to deliver care. It only makes sense. But there's a lot of people who stand to profit very handsomely by obscuring that fact. And so the fight is, I'm a PSC member, so I'm a future city retiree. So this fight is for you all and is for all of us. But it's bigger than even us because we have to figure this out on a national level. It's a global shame, our healthcare system. We spend 1.5 times the second highest spending country. And we have fewer visits per capita, fewer physicians per capita. We have shorter average length of stay per capita. Name any type of healthcare, we're getting less of it. We have a much lower life expectancy than any of these other countries. And yet, we spend so much more money. It's something that we're ultimately going to have to figure out. So the New York Health Act, if you haven't heard of it, the New York Health Act would be single payer for the state of New York. No deductibles, no copays, no narrow networks. All care is free for all people. We have majority co-sponsors in the Senate and in the Assembly of the state right now for the first time ever this session. But the leaders are refusing to bring it to a vote. As of now, it's been stalled. The Senate Majority Leader, Andrea Stewart-Cousins, didn't let the Health Committee even vote on it. So we've got actions planned. You know, this session ends June 17th. We're going to be out on Thursday outside of Andrea Stewart Cousins' office in Yonkers, and also the State Building on 125th and Adam Clayton Powell at 4 p.m. on Thursday. We're going to be at Carl Hasty, the Speaker of the Assembly's office, on Monday. We're going to be in Albany on June 7th. And we want all of you to come out too, because you know what? The moratorium is necessary, but it's the smallest possible thing that we can get. The next level is not privatizing Medicare. And to really secure all of these wins is just to get privatization out of healthcare altogether. So we got to do that together. Thank you guys so much.
Medicare for all! 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 Okay. Thank you, Naomi. Okay, next I am very proud to present Dr. Alec Perchnicki. He is a geriatrician with a practice in an assisted living facility in Manhattan where every resident has Medicare. He will explain his experiences and problems with a Medicare managed care and why it's often a bad choice. The doctor is also a member of the board of PNHP, the Physicians for a National Health Plan, the New York Metro chapter. Welcome.
Okay. Thank you very much for having me here and for everybody showing up. And I'm going to tell you about my experiences dealing with Medicare Advantage over the last 17 years that I've had my practice in an assisted living facility. I'm also a member of Physicians for National Health Program. We're advocating Medicare for all on the national level, the New York State Health Act on a state level, and if either of those two were in effect, none of us would have to be here today. But they're not. We're stuck with straight Medicare, where you get your benefits directly from Medicare, or Medicare managed care, where an insurance company controls your medical care and gives you what it wants to give you and denies what it wants to deny. Now, Medicare managed care, Medicare Advantage originally it was called Medicare HMOs. But Medicare HMOs, everybody knew what HMOs were, so they had to get an alias. So it became Medicare Plus, I think. No, Medicare Plus. And then from there it went to Medicare Managed Care. And then from there it went to Medicare Advantage. It's all the same thing. It's HMOs. They're going to control your health care if they get their hands on it. We've gone through this before. In the 90s, when they first started coming in force, they said they were going to save money. Okay, and the first few years they saved money, 5%, 10%. Then they found out they couldn't provide the care and the profits, and so they started raising rates. So before you knew it, the Medicare Advantage plans were getting 10 to 20% more than Medicare was paying for straight Medicare. These programs that were supposed to save money. Because once they have your Medicare under control, and once they have control of it, either on the federal level or here with this situation we're in now, once they have it, they have it. It's very hard to reverse. So one of my experiences, my 127 residents in my facility, 90% have straight Medicare. I have straight Medicare. 10% have managed care of one type or another. We have more trouble getting medical and nursing and rehabilitation services for that 10% than we have for the whole other 90%. In the 17 years I've been there, we've had trouble getting primary care doctors for the managed care patients, nursing services, nursing home care, rehabilitation services, which we provide on site. But our companies that provide these services cannot deal with the HMOs. They're too cheap, they have too many restrictions, and it's just impossible. So people have to go outside to get services that they could get right on site. But they can't do it because the Medicare Advantage programs interfere. And one of the first things we tell them when they come into our program, try to get off the Medicare Advantage plans as fast as you can, because it's going to cause problems. Now, over the years, this has not gotten better. People really it's very tempting. You know, Medicare Advantage is going to save money. It's going to save you money. It's going to make, if you're healthy now and you expect to be healthy for the entire rest of your life, maybe you can make an argument for it. You know, they pay for a health club. They pay for some of the annoying co-payments. Maybe they'll give you a taxi to your doctor's appointments. And they didn't make these up. These are all real advantages from some of my patients tell me. Maybe they'll pay for acupuncture or yoga or Tai Chi. And this is all very nice. But if you have a major medical problem and you have to choose specialists, primary care doctors, sometimes hospitals, although not in New York so much, and then after you come out of the hospital, you need rehabilitation. That's where you find either rehabilitation in a facility or at home care. That's when you find the limitations. And then it's too late because you're stuck in those programs. And so that's what happens. And they end up having you control your care, and they will decide what you get and what you won't get. That's one of the reasons I'm on straight Medicare. It'd be convenient. Straight managed care, one bill, one big bill at the end of the month, and everything is covered. You don't have to deal with 4 different, Medigap and regular Medicare and medical drugs and dental care. It sounds convenient, and it is convenient as long as you're perfectly healthy. Okay, but you start getting sick and problems start coming up. Now, in my case, I know that somewhere down the rule, I tell my patients, as you get older, you don't get healthier. I'm sorry. I wish we could do something about it, but we can't. So I don't want some insurance company determining what services I'm going to get. And if it looks tempting, these plans that they want to sell you or that they want to force you into, if it looks tempting for the time being, just remember that even though it's tempting now, you're going to pay a price. And if I can give a cultural reference, a baby boomer cultural reference, and steal a line from the movie Casablanca, if you sign up for Medicare managed care or let them force you into it, you may not regret it today. You may not regret it tomorrow, but you'll regret it someday and for the rest of your life. Don't let them privatize Medicare.
Thank you. You know, after I heard Michael Mulgrew give a town hall where he said everything was going to be as good or better, you're going to be paying no more money. You'll get all your doctors. You can be a snowbird in Florida or in Arizona. You'll get whatever you want. Don't worry. My reaction is, well, maybe this year, maybe next year. But what happens when you negotiate it the next time? There are no guarantees. Thank you, David. Okay, now we're glad that DC 37 retirees are in the house. We're going to get to hear briefly from Neil Frumpkin, who is the vice president of the DC 37 Retiree Association, and Ed Hysak, who is the president.
One thing we got to realize, folks, is we're 250,000 retirees. We're big enough to be the 80th largest city in the United States. And the thing is, why didn't the city negotiate and get its own program instead of trying to farm this out to a private vendor? You know, and the fact that they have not been transparent about this process even leads me to more suspicion. Now, union leaders, some of the leaders, my co-leaders, have said this plan is good because you can go to any doctor that accepts Medicare. Well, you know what? That's semantics. Because what you have to, right now with Medicare, you go to a doctor and you say, do you accept Medicare? You don't say, do you accept Medicare East, Medicare North, Medicare 1, Medicare 2, yada, yada, yada. You say, do you accept Medicare? Here you'll have to go and say, do you accept the New York City Medicare Advantage program? And the doctor has a choice and can say no. And since the doctors don't know about this plan, how will they make a decision? This plan doesn't exist yet. But yet they say it's going to be better than sliced white bread First of all, white bread's not healthy for you. Second of all, I don't always like the bread sliced. It gets stale faster. But the problem is that this, in the beginning, may seem to be okay, but it's a slippery slope. And as time goes by, how do these companies make profit? They make a profit by saving on medical costs. To who? You and me. You know, somebody once said to me, these plans are fine if you're healthy. They are. If you're healthy, they offer advantages. They give you silver sneakers. They'll give you a credit card to Target for lowering your cholesterol or AC1. But seriously, as you get problems, and as we age, we all know we get problems, these companies become very difficult. The only way they can make a profit is by keeping health costs down. How do they do that? They stop you from going to see the healthcare providers that you need by either making it very difficult or sending you through what they call gatekeepers. Now, they have said that this program will have no gatekeepers. At first, what happens after 3 years? You know, and then the company comes back and says, we're not making the profit that we want to make, that we're supposed to make, that our stockholders demand from us. That's where the problems will come in. At this point, I'd like to introduce Neil Frumpkin, who's Associate Vice President of DC 37. And by the way, we were one of the first organizations to reach out to other organizations saying this was taking place, because this was something that was being done, in my opinion, in the dark of the night, not in the light of the day.
So there's an old saying, if something sounds too good to be true, it's what? It's too good to be true, and it's not true. So let me tell you, is this plan going to be not 1 penny more than what we have already? No. I'll tell you what, there's going to be co-pays. There's going to be co-pays to see a doctor. There's going to be co-pays for a test. There's going to be co-pays for a blood test, for an EKG, for if you need a eye exam. Everything's going to be co-pays. They told us, guess what? There's going to be limits. $1,500 per head, or per belly button, that's what we call it. Every covered person, $1,500. That's the most you'll have to pay in your co-pays. Well, does that sound like what you're paying today? No. So they lie. Okay? Now, we asked, and we met with, Ed and I met with the actuarials for the Municipal Labor Committee that are advising them on this plan. That's the Siegel Company. And we asked, how are you going to save all this money? How is that going to happen if it's not going to come out of our hides? And they said it's going to be based on the fact the federal government, or actually the Center for Medicaid Services, will give additional money to this company, either one, there's two in the running, for better health metrics. They're going to do better by you, and the government will give them more money. If you're satisfied, then you'll give them a good rating, they'll get still more money. Well, if you believe that, there's a bridge over here I'd like to sell you. The city of New York says they're not going to spend any money on health care for the next 3 years. But that's based on the health outcomes that this company says they will deliver. What if they don't? What if we are sick? What if we aren't magically cured of all our diseases? Then the city's going to wind up spending all this money anyway. And they'll come back and come back and come back for more cuts and more cuts and more cuts. We got to draw the line in the sand right now. No more! No more! No more! Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, so true, so true. Also, I think I said 250,000. You know what? Many of those retirees have a partner, and it affects them too. So it's really a lot more people. And one more thing I want to say. Almost, we hope every current city employee will become a retiree, hopefully. So this is going to keep going. We're going to have another quick song by Dave, and then we have just a few more speakers. I know this is going long, but so many people have been wanting to speak because this is so important. So thank you for your patience. Dave Littman.
The lyric sheet managed care unit is passing among you, so you can participate and I can just listen to all of you sing. Waiting for the drum to come in. Imagine you have health care. It's easy if you try. Freedom to choose your doctor. No extra stuff to buy. Imagine first-class treatment when you're unemployed. Imagine care for everyone. No greedy middleman. No premium, no copay. A single payer plan. Imagine long-term illness, but you don't lose your hope. They say I'm a dreamer, but we have a commonwealth. I hope someday we'll join up, and the world can live in health. Can you say universal? I'll if you can. Now try comprehensive. Does that sound like a plan? They'll work for years in Europe, Canada, and Japan. Let's say I'm a dreamer, but we have a commonwealth. I hope someday we'll join them, and the world can live in health.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Dave Lennon. I mean, Dave Littman. Woo! Okay, I just want to say we have two more speakers. Please don't leave. We are recording this. It will be probably posted on Retiree Advocate Facebook page. We have a sign-up sheet. If you have the sign-up sheet, hold it up, please.
There it is back there.
Right there. So get on it. We'll put you on our email list so you can be notified about more events. Thank you. Okay. Next, I'm really happy to introduce Mariana Gaston. She was a bilingual teacher and assistant principal in the New York City Public Schools. She also worked as a teacher trainer and a coach for the Morningside Center for Teaching Social Responsibility. Mariana is a retiree member of CSA, the Council of Supervisors and Administrators. Mariana?
Hello, one more union on this way. So I am from the Council of Supervisors and Administrators of the New York City Public Schools, right, the union. And first of all, I want to thank everybody for being here, because it's important that we care about us and we care about the people that are coming after us as well. This is about all of us. This is about all of us. I found out about a week ago on my email that I was invited to a meeting of the CSA to find out about a Zoom meeting on June 15th. The Zoom meeting is happening on June 15th, right? So we're talking about, this is supposed to happen at the end of June, and we are going to be notified June 15th to find out what they're going to tell us that they already know. We have not known anything about it, or ordinary people don't know anything about it. Some people might know. So now they're going to say, we are going to tell you about your Medicare Advantage Plan, period. Just wait around until they tell you what you're going to do. Don't worry about it, right? So they're letting us know about something that they already made up their mind, and that they're going to privatize our health care, just like everybody knows. So this is a very disturbing thing for all of us, right? As we all have heard. And so this is a little fact that I found interesting. All the other facts are huge. Medicare uses 98% of their funds to pay for our health care, and only 2% to run Medicare administrative costs. Medicare Advantage plans, all private insurance companies, let's remember this always, they use 17% of their funds for administrative purposes, including profits, including these prior authorizations that they tell you yes or they tell you no, and you just wait around forever. And salaries for the high salaries for the people that run this profit-making organization. Okay, so what does that mean? It means that we get 83% of how they pay their bills for us, right? Not 98, 83%. So what happens? Right? It means that they are cutting from the money that's supposed to come to us to pay for the doctors or the needs that we have. So what does that mean? The word is privatizing. We know about privatizing. We have experience with privatizing in this country, in healthcare, in housing, everything. You know what is happening in the city, in housing, in healthcare. We are in the middle of a pandemic. Even today we're in the pandemic, and they're putting this on us. That is not right. So 56 years ago, Medicare began. 56 years ago, we have had a right as seniors to have our health care covered. 56 years later, they are going to privatize us. No, 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 no. And what do we know about privatizing? Anytime they take anything private, we get shortchanged. Anytime they privatize. And it's happening in the pandemic. Shame, shame, shame. So, as Naomi was saying, we have the New York Health Act knocking at the door in New York. We have to think about this, and they have to think about this, these unions that are making these deals. They made this deal 3 years ago, and now they're going ahead. They're going ahead now in the middle of the pandemic. How does that make any sense? Doesn't make any sense. So now we, for the first time in 30 years, when it was first brought to New York State, we have the votes in the Assembly to vote for the New York Health Act. And what do we need? We need health care for all New Yorkers without co-pays, without deductibles, or limited provider networks. Comprehensive universal health care, that's what we need. Thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely. Sally Robinson from DC 37 just asked me a question, and I can't answer it. Maybe you can answer it. Sally?
Hello, everybody. My name is Sally Robinson. I'm from DC 37 Retired. And what I'm saying, I'm out here. We are out here protesting on our coverage and stuff to take care of us. Where is all the peoples that running? The mayor, the controller, all those people should be out here to support us. Where they at? When you go back where you live at, go to their office and ask them, what the hell was you? Is you supporting us? Because we need you. We the one back you and put you in office. And number one, if you don't do it, we can take your butt out the office. Thank you.
Bennett Fisher. He is a recently retired UFT member after 28 years as a special education art teacher. He is a UFT activist, and he's also a member of Retiree Advocate and a friend. Bennett!
Thank you, Gloria. Hi, everybody. I retired in 2018, and I am turning 65 in a few months, and I just received my Medicare card in the mail 2 weeks ago. But back in March, just 2 months ago, I attended a UFT webinar about turning 65 and Medicare. The message was clear. Stay away from Medicare Advantage plans. Medicare Advantage plans, stay away from them and stick with traditional Medicare. Don't be seduced by solicitations you will receive. Don't accept the storylines of private insurers. Stay with traditional Medicare. Hold on to that good old Medicare Part A and Part B card, and you will have the best possible coverage. Then, days later, the story of the MLC's plan to switch us to privatized Medicare Advantage broke. What changed between that union-sponsored webinar and the big switch? I want that question answered, and I want a moratorium on the privatization of retiree Medicare. Retirees gonna scream and shout, save Medicare, don't sell us out. Retirees gonna scream and shout, save Medicare, don't sell us out. Once more. Retirees gonna scream and shout, save Medicare, don't sell us out.
Thank you. Well, okay, so our press conference is coming to an end, but our fight is not over. We're over here today, but this fight will continue on. We have to continue to alert municipal city retirees about everything that we have heard here today, because some of them still don't know. And we ask you to sign our listserv so we can keep you informed of what else we might be doing, any other actions, activities. We do all have to unite, all the unions together, to try and stop this. But we in the UFT Retired Teachers chapter, we have another way of fighting this. Right now, we are in the middle of a chapter election. There are like over 60,000 UFT retirees around the country and in Europe as well too, and they all got a ballot to vote in this election. We can send our union leadership a very strong message if people vote for retiree advocate in this election, because the more votes that we get, the stronger the message is going to be to our union. And again, our union leader is on the executive board of the Municipal Labor Committee, so it is important. So again, that's it for now. But we want a moratorium. We want a moratorium. We want to say no to privatization. We want Medicare for all, and we will continue saying that. Thank you so much for coming, everybody. If you have questions, we'll be hanging out to talk. And also, we thought if anybody wants to, we can hang out. We can go in the park and we can chat with each other in person. What a thrill that is. Stay well, stay healthy. Thank you.
Shout, save Medicare, sell us out. Retirees gonna scream and shout. Save Medicare, don't sell us out. Once more. Retirees gonna scream and shout. Save Medicare, don't sell us out. Thank you.